Namaskara. Today we are celebrating the second day of Navaratri. We are worshipping Devi today as Brahmacharini. We all know Brahmacharya means celibacy. The moment we say Brahmachari, it there comes a sense of it's a gender specific thing for us. Brahmachari are all our purusharthas. It is like Purusha. We assume it is gender specific. All the four ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, it's a general perception. I'm not saying about the learned or who tries to explore about it. It's a general perception that the Brahmachari means it is either caste specific. We get a mental picture of a Brahmin kid probably wearing the janu. No, that's not the case. Brahmacharya is an ashram. In the ancient sense, it is a student's life. So, it is not gender specific. Worshipping the goddess in Navaratri as Brahmacharini is the proof that the Brahmacharya ashram is not caste specific, it's not gender specific. It's basically about a student's life. Not just a student, whoever who wants to do something big, whoever is preparing for a big exam, something big in life with a single-minded focus. That's what Brahmacharya is all about. So we just call ourselves Brahmachari and is it okay? Like I'm a Brahmacharini and we have restricted this thing to wearing something like orange robes. That's about our Brahmacharya, right? No. Brahmacharini is a very huge term. It comes with lots and lots of responsibility. A Brahmachari, first of all, a student in a modern context has to observe celibacy. It's the age where we are like parents like me and you are having huge hormonal driven tantrums. So Brahmacharya is about celibacy. It's about controlling your senses, controlling your emotions, and sacrificing huge lot of things. I'll try to explain how beautifully these things are connected. Everybody knows Ayurveda has this Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And certain things in modern allopathic doctors will tell you that these things are allergic. If you go for allergy testing, you have lots of allergies. So, if according to Ayurveda, you have to stay away from certain food because it induces certain things in your body. In modern context, certain things, if you drink alcohol, if you are into all sorts of drugs, if you smoke, it changes the way you perceive things. You all know that how these drug related crimes happen all over the world, including India. So certain food items, though they are considered consumable things, will change the body, will have an impact over your senses, over your hormones, over your bodily secretions, over your appetite, over your sleep, over your hallucinations, everything. So, in later life, one is free or probably one chooses to do, one's karmic path leads him there or her there. Let's not go into that. But as a student, if one gets into the habit of consuming these kind of things, their student life is completely gone. Or at least whatever big goal they have, it is completely diversified. That's why Brahmacharini or Brahmacharya asks you to stay away from certain things. That is why we have this beautiful frame that how a Brahmachari is supposed to live, supposed to conduct himself or herself. Because you have a large, big goal in front of you, you can't be diverted. And if you lose that focus in those very important years, then life takes a turn, as most of us know. So one thing is the restrictions, another thing is the conduct. We most of the times we know that even our own kids from privileged or financially well-off parents, or kids who are from a very lower economical strata, they do need behavioral lessons. As parents, we are too busy to tell them that how to conduct themselves in front of elders, in towards the country, towards your friends, towards your family. There is a problem in the conduct, there is a problem in the behavior. Either they're too arrogant, or they're too detached, or they just don't know how to be in the society. We just tell them to learn sin square theta plus cos square theta and to dream of them getting into IITs, and later on forget US dream is not there anymore, but still going abroad and doing big things. But we forget to tell them how to conduct, how to behave, and make them ready for society. Brahmacharya is also teaches you how to be a good human being, good citizen in the society, because it gives so much importance to one's conduct. You need to be humble. You need to be ready to accept whatever knowledge that is coming your way. We have read so many stories about these Rishi ashramas and how these even kings and queens used to be the students in these, Rishis ashramas, because for them they're teachers and these are disciples. And irrespective of if you are a king's son or a farmer's son or a daughter, you have to behave in the way a student is expected to behave, right? So a brahmachari needs to be celibate, needs to avoid things which will take them away from being a student, and they have to conduct themselves, and they also have to learn to coexist with other people. These are the basic tenets of brahmacharya. And coming back to this day today, Bramhacharini, and why the goddess, she is Parashakti, she is the all-powerful, and she can do anything and everything. Why she is supposed to be a Brahmacharini? When we think of these festivals and gods and goddesses, and we just deify them and keep them in a temple, they don't make much sense. But when you try to absorb and understand the deeper, hidden and vast meaning our scriptures and our rituals explain, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. I used to read lots of novels and I used to write fiction, but nothing is as exhilarating as our own stories and the beautiful, beautiful world of the gods and goddesses. Brahmacharini's story is it's very touching. Parvati, and being born as Himavanta's daughter, just taken a human form. She can't be divine now, right? So she has this all human limitations, including death. You just can't surpass the senses, and she knows, purpose of my birth is reaching Shiva, reaching the penultimate. So she is very clear about her goal in life. Unfortunately, most of us, though we worship Parvati, we were never that clear. I think, at least I was not clear what I want to do in life. I don't know. Still, I'm not very clear. But Parvati was very clear about what she wanted in life. So Shiva denies, no, you are a human form, and it's not possible, because he had already once tried to be with this lady Sati, and that didn't happen. That resulted in a heartbreak. And again, I think Shiva was smart, that he didn't want to take a chance again with this human born Parashakti. So Parvati goes onto a deep penance. We just can't even imagine. When I read in Lalita Sahasranama or somewhere, or when I hear the name Aparna, actually my eyes well up. Aparna. Parna is leaf in Sanskrit. Parvati did such meditation that she was consuming only one leaf a day. We do all sort of nautanki for doing this 9 days fasting or one day, even one Ekadashi. If some you ask me, we just can't. refrain. We can't restrain ourselves, but we do intermittent, we do keto, we do all sorts of fasting. But if someone says that you have to do a fasting for a religious purpose, most of us are like, we have a problem with it because we feel no meaning in it. But Parvati, to reach Shiva, ate only one leaf a day. That's why she's Aparna. To reach, forget everything, forget the senses, forget that she's a king's daughter, Himavanta's daughter. Forgetting everything, she just went into one mode, that is meditation mode, to reach Shiva, eating one leaf a day, standing on one leg, having panchagni. If there is a little bit of heat and we need AC, we need our fans, we are very irritable generally. Panchagni, because she wanted to test, endure, push her limits to the maximum extent possible. She has pushed. She reached Shiva. So the lesson we can derive from this entire idea of worshipping Brahmacharini is, if you focus with a single mind, with dedication, with passion, without getting into all sorts of other distractions, if you are ready to sacrifice, if you are ready to walk on a path, even if it is completely ridden with stones, thorns, or whatever problems, obstacles in a modern context, if you are so single-minded, so into something you want to achieve, definitely that is attainable if you are following these steps of Brahmacharya ashram. That is what this whole idea of worshipping Devi as Brahmacharini, that is the lesson we can take from the second day of Navaratri. And being a woman, whenever I hear, I just want to tell a personal note here. Whenever I hear this Brahmacharini, though it is like celibate and not getting married, or it's not getting into any kind of physical desires, not getting into any kind of emotional, mental distractions, I always it always reminds me of Mary Curie. You know why? Mary Curie was so single-minded. Nothing distracted her. The surroundings, the kind of poverty, the kind of not having a good love, nothing ever distracted her from finding out even the illness of her own self, the disease like a cancer to her own beloved partner and husband. Nothing distracted her. That's how she could find out those two elements in what we study. These kind of what you call sadhaks, these kind of achievers, these kind of superhuman beings, probably because it's not easy to have that kind of a focus, dedication, perseverance throughout your life. It's not everybody's ballgame. If one tries, probably everybody can be a superhuman being, but unfortunately we have too many things to do. It is a human homo sapiens life, right? So I always feel people who are, particularly women, because no matter what anyone claims, as women we have this added responsibility of taking care of the kids, the family, the kitchen, right? So a woman has a little bit of more of emotional involvement in raising a healthy family, a healthy society. But in all that, look at our ISRO scientists who were there behind this Mangalyaan or any of our launches. Look at the various fields where single-mindedly, with the family, with all those extra burden, obstacles, whatever we throw on their path, they have risen above. They have given enough sacrifices. They have not gone for holidays. They have not attended family functions. They had hardly had time even to dress up. There will be single-minded dedication and focus. And though they are, just because they have a family and they are not celibate in a sexual terminology, I don't see them as less of a Brahmacharini dedicated to the life of knowledge and sacrifice and attaining a bigger goal, that is a Shiva. It is Satya for, anyone. It can be a different Shiva for you, different, because our goals are different. In one lifetime, we just take up one responsibility and try to achieve that, knowingly or unknowingly. So, Brahmacharini, with this large, vast canvas, opens up the possibilities of what one can do with the life, with the lifetime, if one puts the mind, single-minded devotion, like Parvati did to achieve her Shiva. With that note, I'll end this today. Let's meet tomorrow to discuss tomorrow's Devi. Thank you.